Welcome to IFA Stories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred world of Ifa, the Yoruba spiritual system, where every tale carries the power of divination, destiny, and deep cultural insight. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Orishas, the divine forces guiding our paths, Orunmila, the Erinmoles, and many more. Each story is a bridge between the past and the present, weaving timeless lessons that inspire, enlighten, and transform. Embrace the wisdom, honor the tradition, and journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe now and let the stories guide you. İJİTİ establishes himself on Earth. Shortly after arriving on Earth, he decided to go for divination with 3 awan named Ugun Sarre, Sarre Kpar, Akala Injibo Sarre, BJ Samrun Medi Sarre. When he arrived at their house, he met ALÁMÍYޮ, the chief of hunters from Itoko, who had also come for divination. Both the hunter and Ogunda Meyi were advised to offer sacrifice against the problem of ingratitude from those who would benefit from their generosity. Ogunda Meyi was told to offer a black goat to his Ifa and a he-goat to Isu. He made the sacrifice. On the other hand, the hunter was advised to offer a he-goat to Isu and to serve the goon with a dog, tortoise, and rooster. He did not make the sacrifice. The hunter was very skilled in his profession, which explains why he did not consider it necessary to perform any sacrifice. Many years later, the hunter had a terrifying dream and returned for divination. Once again, he was reminded of the sacrifice he had previously been advised to make. He still insisted he did not need the help of any sacrifice. The next awan he approached were called Ura Sume Siseye and Mada Bo La Tise Ure, Wan Difa Fun ALÁMÍYޮ Ti Ise Olor de Nile Alya Arangun. He was also named Alamai and was the chief of hunters in the town of Ala Rangun. They warned him that if he did not perform the sacrifice, his kindness and benevolence would shorten his life. This time, he was told to give 3 he-goats to Isu, 1 goat to Orunmila, 1 goat to his head, Ori, a dog, rooster, and tortoise to Gun, 6 eggs and a rabbit to the elder mothers of the night, Awan Agbalaye. Yet he still did not make any of the sacrifices. Meanwhile, he left his home on a hunting expedition with his weapon, a boomerang called Ekpide in Benin or Akatap in Yoruba. At nightfall, he arrived at the town of Ipogun. The people of Ipogun had long lived under a grave threat caused by a mysterious bird that used to come to the town and leave behind a trail of human corpses. The bird is called Agba in Yoruba and Ukiki in Benin. Each time it shouted Kapgun 3 times, it would leave, and soon after, 20 people would die in the town. The bird had outwitted the most famous hunters in the region. On the last occasion, the people had offered a he-goat to Isu, who assured them that the hunter who would kill the bird would travel to the town alone. When Alami awoke the next morning, he was invited by the town's chief and informed of the mysterious bird problem. While they were sitting outside the chief's house discussing the issue, the bird appeared again. It cried, "Pagbon" once, but before it could repeat it, Alamai took aim and shot it dead. News quickly spread, and the town rejoiced. While the people were still celebrating, Isu went around stirring the youth of the town to demand Alami be expelled, claiming that a hunter capable of killing such a mysterious being with 1 shot might one day destroy the entire town if offended. The town's chief, understanding the fear among the youth, gave in to their request and expelled Alami from Pagun, the town he had just saved. Baffled by this turn of events, Alami went to the next town, Enta, where he was again invited to solve the old problem of another mysterious bird, which had caused many deaths. The bird, called Alak in Yoruba and Awe in Benin, used to visit the town periodically. As soon as it arrived, it would perch at the town's entrance and cry Pigbon 3 times, after which 30 people would die. While the townspeople were describing the endemic calamity, the bird arrived and perched on the tree of life, called Akaka or Aknmn. Alami waited until it had cried Pagbon twice before aiming and shooting. The bird fell dead. Once again, the whole town rejoiced and sang praises to the hunter who had performed the miraculous feat. However, soon after, Esau once again instigated the townspeople against him, and he was expelled. He had begun paying the price for his stubbornness. Next, he traveled to the town of If, where he was received with joy and high expectations by the townspeople, who had already heard of his exploits in the 2 previous towns. They assured him that they would not repay his kindness with the same ingratitude he had previously suffered. They told him about a deer, called Agbonren in Yoruba and Erho in Benin, that would occasionally visit the town, stand on a hill, and shout "Palora," causing the deaths of 40 people and destroying several buildings. Soon, the deer appeared on the hill, and just as it opened its mouth to cry, "Palora," Alami shot it dead. He tried to settle in Afe, but while celebrations were still ongoing, Esau spread the rumor that Alami was the one sending the deer to the town in the first place, which explained why he was the only hunter able to kill it. As if that weren't enough, Esau traveled to Epgun and Iyinta and asked whether Alami had not killed the animals without even looking at them, and whether the arrows hadn't returned to him. The people confirmed it had happened the same way in Iye. He asked if it was not possible for such a man to destroy a whole population from afar. Then the visitor, Esau, sang a war chant, and the people expelled Alami from Iye, chanting, "Ku hande jere, ku de jere, ku de jere." After being expelled from Iye, he decided to hide his boomerang, concealing his profession. He was also a diviner and turned to the practice of Awo, which he also mastered. This time, he quietly entered the town of Ijesa. Though he managed to marry the daughter of the Òwá of ΙJÉΣΑ, he was not recognized. The princess bore him 4 children. His wife had just delivered the 4th child when war broke out between Yo and Ijesa. The invading army of Oyo was crushing the people of Ijebu. The Òwá of ΙJÉΣΑ gathered his people and told them to perform a massive divination to know how to stop the advancing army. In the assembly, Esau, disguised as a visiting Ifa priest, revealed to the people of Ijesa that among them was the famous hunter from Atikaki Kasar, who had performed feats in Pagun, Yinta, and Ale. He announced that the hunter had hidden his profession and identity due to the ingratitude he had suffered. Esau, still disguised as an Awo, further said that the man whose name ended in Iwe and who was married to a princess was the only one who, with his mysterious weapon, could stop the Iyo army. As all eyes turned to Alami, the visitor added that the man had a problem that followed him from heaven and had persisted on earth because he had stubbornly refused to perform the sacrifice prescribed for him. If he did it, he would become the most famous man in Ijesa. If he continued to refuse, he would end up burying himself alive. Upon hearing this, Alami stood up. The visiting Awo told him that now the required sacrifices had multiplied. 3 he-goats to Esau, 1 goat to Ifa, 1 goat to his head, 2 dogs, 2 tortoises, and 2 roosters to Argun, 1 rabbit, a hen, and eggs to the elder mothers of the night. Then Alamai said through tears that he had done so much for humanity and had been repaid with such ingratitude that he felt no obligation to continue being charitable. At that point, the women of the town, many of whom had lost their husbands in the war, offered to contribute money to buy the materials for the sacrifice. The sacrifices were immediately made. The next morning, Alamai retrieved his boomerang, brushed it, closed his eyes, and fired 3 arrows toward the invading army. Each arrow killed 200 Yu soldiers, and all 3 arrows returned to him. When the Yo army saw their troops being slaughtered by an invisible attacker, they panicked and fled in terror. Peace immediately returned to ԻΛԵШΑ. Soon after, the king of ԻΛԵШΑ died, and since he had only 1 daughter, Alami, who was her husband, was crowned Òwá of ԻԲΟΚΟΥΝ ԻＪÈШΑ. He was the one who gave ΙΛԵШΑ the name Abikun, meaning where one grew tired of doing favors. At last, he rejoiced and sang the praises of his Awan Awan. His reign was peaceful and prosperous.